Hello everyone, welcome, my name is Phoenix, and this is the Consumer's Guide to Filmmaking. Nosferatu, 2024, Robert Eggers. Following one Thomas Hutter, Hutter's wife Ella is plagued by nightmares and melancholy, but Hutter's new assignment looks to put an end to their woes. Sent to the remote country of Transylvania to facilitate a home sale for one Count Orlok, Hutter makes the unsettling discovery that Orlok is a vampire and is seeking to spread his disease across the land. With his wife growing insane and his own faculties waning, Hutter must find a way back home and stop Orlok once and for all. What can I say? It's another Eggy Boy banger on the menu tonight. Fuck me. Oh, fuck. This was most certainly, without a doubt, Robert Eggers' Nosferatu. As usual, Eggers has crafted a visual feast. Perfect framing, flowing camera work, beautiful lighting steeped in shadows and atmosphere. The film is most certainly up to his standard. One of the particular things I noticed in this film was his interesting use of off-center blocking. During a scene, an actor will deliberately be placed in a spot that is far from center frame, despite the shot being a straight-ahead shot, reverse shot sort of discussion. It was very off-putting, but it was done in an incredibly deliberate way in order to divert our attention to something else in the shot. Unrelated to that particular quirk, but the shot of Orlok's hand's shadow engulfing the city is one that will stick in my mind forever. That's a beautiful use of miniature sets and scale. It was amazing. Production design is another of Eggers' strong suits. Shooting in the Czech Republic and Romania, using real castles as well as this old-timey town found in the former mentioned country, Eggers once again fully enveloped us in a time period. 19th century Europe looked so authentic and beautiful, with Eggers taking every chance to revel in this scenery. Everyone had frilly suits and dresses on, they had the fancy stashes and the goofy sideburns. The film was costumed to perfection. But the creme de la creme, obviously, in terms of production design, was Count Orlok. Obscured in shadows for the duration of his introduction, it took me a minute to understand what the Eggman was going for when you actually saw Orlok fully. But then I took into account the setting, and then it dawned on me that he was just a balding Slav. The receding hairline and bushy mustache added a unique charm to this rendition of Dracula, one that is steeped in Eastern European style. Hell, this Dracula is probably Vlad the Impaler, so it tracks that he would look like that. Bless fucking Bill Skarsgård for enduring all that makeup and losing all that weight for this role. Fuck yeah. The gore in this film is tasteful, yet it will satiate any mongoloid gorehound that stumbled into this movie by happenstance. Orlok was feasting on lots of blood and ripping people open, and it all looked great. Him biting into people's chest, going for the heart as opposed to the carotid artery jugular vein in the neck, was another unique element in this Dracula's presentation. One of my favorite moments was when Dracula finally got exposed to sunlight. The way the blood seeped out of his eyes and the process of the sun burning him alive was this internal process, as if his blood was just boiling. That was very cool. It was a neat way to present that. He also got some rats gnawing on people and wolves chasing people down, and much like Werner Herzog, Eggers used real animals for these scenes. But unlike Werner Herzog, Eggers isn't a cunt and treated them well. You could obviously assume that the pigeon that got eaten in the film was a dummy, you know. And apparently, Nicholas Hoult was legit, freaked out when working with the actual wolves that Eggers used to shoot those particular scenes with. It definitely added to Holt's performance, I'll say that. Musically, it's the sort of music you would expect from one of Eggers' blustery melodramas. The droning and coarse strings were certainly appropriate for a story of this type, and the score never quite lapsed into the generic. It's just that I found it to be nothing that Eggers hasn't done before. It reminded me of The Witch at times in many regards. Good stuff, but not wholly unique. But if there is one thing we can count on with the Eggman. It's for Robert Eggers to envelop himself into a time period while writing. The language of Nosferatu is poetic, archaic, but nonetheless understandable. Words and phrases that you would never really hear in modern times fit perfectly into 19th century German high society. To refer to someone who fucks as a rutting goat is something only people from that time would do. To refer to the rising sun as the time when the first cock crows make it Philistines to giggle, but it shows that Eggers cares enough to structure dialogue in a period-accurate manner. What of Eggers' interpretation of the classic Dracula story? Eggers definitely puts his spin on things, I will say that. But Eggers also remains faithful to that silent movie classic. The thing I like about Eggers' take is that Hutter's wife has a more active part in the story. Dracula's spell has been a lifelong ailment for her, and to any rational being, she'd be seen as loony. Taking away the Dracula bit, you could definitely spin this as an unhappy wife unable to healthily process depression. The Dracula in this film strikes a healthy balance between lonely hermit and evil villain. He is presented as someone who is deeply sad, but he is also presented as a frightening monster. His longing for Hutter's wife is more menacing than it is tragic, and it was sold pretty damn well. Committing to the original ending of Nosferatu, but modernizing it, Eggers creates a stark image of Dracula lying dead on top of Ella Hutter, who died giving herself to the monster in order to save everyone else. The acting is, much like everything else, of a quality I come to expect from Robert Eggers' filmmaking. Nicholas Hoult purported himself amicably as Thomas Hutter. I loved every scene he had with Orlok at the castle. He looked like he was pissing and shitting his pants every time he was talking to this monstrous vampire, and it was very entertaining. Holt's more tender, emotional moments, of course, were of great power as well, and he nailed the ending, I must say. One of the stalwarts of the film was Lily Rose Depp as Ella Hutter. Eggers just clearly told her to fucking go for it, and she just unleashed in every scene. Call it overacting, call it blustery, I think this display of anguish, mania, sadness, and pain ranks with the likes of Toni Collette in Hereditary or the great Isabelle Adjani in Possession. Lily Rose Depp is a goddamn powerhouse and committed to this character mind, body, and soul. Absolutely amazing stuff. But what is Nosferatu without, well, Nosferatu? Yeah. Bill Skarsgård was fucking incredible in this film. Another actor who just commits to the bit. He lost tons of weight and shoved all that prosthetic work onto him, yet still showed so much personality and cut a hell of a presence as this character. The bellowing Slavic accent, the wheezing in between sentences, like that every time he spoke was quite a nice touch. Skarsgård's spin on this iconic character will help define his career with the powerful emotions and villainous intent he was able to show. So yeah, I think my concluding thoughts regarding Nosferatu are as follows. I don't think for a second that Robert Eggers is falling off. Far from it. Nosferatu is as masterfully crafted as his other films, directing 3 actors to career-best performances and showing a unique mastery of visual storytelling that very few modern directors have simply shows Robert Eggers is far above many of his contemporaries. This is his 4th feature, which is absolutely incredible for a director so young and so early into his career to show such a command of his craft. But, I do believe that Eggers is starting to fall into the trap of having a shtick. Many of the elements of Nosferatu were elements that impressed me that little bit more in his earlier films. When it becomes that apparent, I look to the next film not with glee, but with a small amount of caution. I expect nothing but quality from Eggers, but the honeymoon phase is starting to end, and he needs to show a different side of his filmmaking voice more often, maybe explore another genre like he did with The Northman. But make no mistake, Egger's remake of this classic tale ranks high amongst remakes, and should be touted as a great achievement for this young talent. For sure, it is one of my favorites of the year, and I await what Eggers does next with keen interest, to say the least. Highly recommended. And I am feeling a 9 out of 10 on this one. It's another Eggy Boy banger, as I said. Fuck. Catch you later, guys.